Welcome to the Greelight Investor for the week ending January 23rd, 2015. Our goal at the Greelight Investor is to make managing your 401k both a simple and easy process. I'll go through an overview of the worksheet, then I'll highlight a few of the features that make it very simple and easy to allocate assets between your various 401k investment fund choices. Let's go right to the worksheet and I'll go over some of these features. On the left side of the worksheet, we have the investment choices. And what those do is they mirror the mutual funds that are available to you in your 401k. At the very top, we have the core investments, and following down are the satellite investments, which include the money market, the fixed income funds, U.S. growth and income funds, U.S. equities, international equities, and sector funds. You'll find each column, you've got the fund number, the symbol, the fund name, and the description, as well as a hyperlink that'll take you to an outside website where you can do additional research on any of the funds. Next, we'll update the performance of each of these funds every week. We'll show you the closing price, the month-to-date return, the quarter-to-date return, and the year-to-date return. And then what I think is the most important columns are the weekly trends. These are anchored by column V, which is the relative strength trend change column. We like to use that as the center line to make our investment choices. And the way we do this is we simply go down this column and look for funds that are bullish or green to the left and bullish or green to the right. If we see that, that's a fund that gives you a green light and it's okay to invest in. If you see funds that have red and red, you may want to take a different choice on that and either know that it's bearish or move out and find something that is bullish at the time. Let's go through an example of how you can use the green lights to help allocate your assets. First, you go to the view. Let's go to custom views and then just my percent allocation and show. This will take you to an asset allocation section. In this section, if you click on the allocation guidelines, it will give you a way to find out what a baseline allocation would be based on your investment time frame as well as your ability to take on risk. We've already populated this because we've run the allocation, and what we're seeing is we want to be 100% as our target allocation right now, and we're showing that our portfolio is currently 100%. The portfolio mix that we derived from our allocation guidelines goes like this. We want 10% in our index funds, and that's up here. We'll show 10%, and this is the fund that it's been allocated to. We want 10% allocated to our money market funds, and this is the fund that we've allocated it to. We'll want 5% allocated to our fixed income funds, and down here we have the 5% in the fund, the T. Rowe Price income, 5% to U.S. growth and income, which is the Wellesley income. Then we go down and we'll see that we have a 30% allocation divided between two funds. And again, that's up to you. You can choose 2, 3, 4, whatever you want to do it to spread the asset risk around. But ultimately, we're trying to target the 30% right now because that's the guidelines that we're trying to follow. Next, let's go down and we have 30% allocated to international funds. This one we've divided between 3 different funds, 10%, 10%, and 10%. And finally, we've got a 10% target to our sector funds. And here's the allocation we have to the T. Rowe Price Real Estate Fund. Now let's see how you can use the Greelight Investor to manage these guidelines for asset allocations. Let's scroll to the top again, and let's start out with our core investments, and let's see how you might want to go through this on each week to allocate the assets and see if you're in the right funds. Simply slide the slider over to where you can see your allocation and the RS trend change. And for each allocation that we're in, we'll want to look at it and see if we have a green light on the left of the RS change column and a green light to the right. This one we do, so there's nothing to do this week for that fund. Next we have our money market, which we're allocating to, and that's in case there's opportunities to put capital to work, that's a good place to store it. We have a 5% allocation to fixed income. So what we'll do is we'll look at that and we'll see where our 5% is. It's showing that we have a green light to the left of the column and a green light to the right of the column V. As we scroll down our selections, we've got growth in income. Again, there's a 5% allocation from our investment guidelines. And the 5%, we look at it. It's green to the left, green to the right. Again, nothing to do. Everything's just fine. Next, we'll go to our 30% allocation to U.S. equity funds. We have 10% allocated. We're fine with the green light to the left and the right. We have 20% allocated. Again, left and the right of the center line, column V, looks just fine. Let's go to our next section. We've got 30% allocated to international funds. We look here, we've got a green light to the left, green light to the right. And then we look here and we see in 10% has been allocated, but this fund's got a red light to the left and a green light to the right. So it doesn't mean we have to do something right away, but what that does is that flags you to see if you can find a better fund. So that's one we'll look at. And here we have a neutral with a green light. There's a couple things you could do. You could reallocate those to the green funds for now while that's green. Or what I'm going to do tonight is just say, I don't like the choices because there's not much green here yet. And that could change next week. But for right now, I'm going to move the 10% out of here and I'm going to hold that in a money market. And I'm going to move 10% away from this area, move it to a money market. So what that's done temporarily is say that we do like to have 30% allocated, but we currently only have 10. Let's make the adjustment. We'll go back up to our money markets. And up in our money market, we have 10% allocated, 10% there, but we're going to change that because we're going to move the 20% that we did, and that makes 30% in the money markets. So right now we have 10% allocated, but right now we're overweighted in this because we're not finding good choices. And finally, let's go down and see what we have in our last one, which is our sector funds. We have 10% allocated to our sector funds. We have 10% that we've decided to put in this fund, and again, it's fine because it's bullish to the left and bullish to the right. Now that we've reallocated, we can simply scroll back up and see what choices we're invested in. We simply move the slider back to the left, and we'll say that this week we should have 10% in our Vanguard Bond Index Fund, 30% in our Vanguard Retirement Trust. We've still got our 5% allocation to the T. Rowe Price New Income Fund, the 5% to the Wellesley Income Fund, which is right here, the 10% to the Vanguard Dividend, and the 10% to the Vanguard, or the 20% to the Vanguard Growth Index. And let's scroll down a little bit further. And here we're seeing the international funds. We've got 30% allocated here, but now we're only 10%. We decided to move some money to the sidelines and see how this market starts to move going forward. Our 10% allocation is in the emerging market funds. And finally, we've got 10% that we kept in the T. Rowe Price Real Estate Fund. And that's all you have to do each week to keep track of your 401k. I hope this demonstrated how simple and easy it can be to keep an eye on your investment choices. The Greelight system combines the asset allocation guides along with the Greelight relative strength trend change columns. By incorporating both of those techniques, I think it winds up being a very, very simple and easy method for managing your 401k assets. I want to thank you for taking the time this week for watching this video. I hope it's been helpful and has given you some ideas and resources as to how you can manage your 401k choices. Thank you very much for taking the time to watch this. If you do want any additional information, leave my contact information. Please feel free to give me a call, or the best method would be send me an email with questions, and I'd be happy to either talk or reply to your emails and help you with your 401k investment choices. Thank you again for taking the time to watch this video.